Flow state for me, I'm gonna just use me as an example. It was something that was revealed to me from trial and error. I didn't even realize that I never even heard of the term flow state. But what I started to realize in hindsight, in certain moments where I started to feel euphoric is when I was doing things that was exhibiting my strengths, such as acts of service, inspiring people, motivating people. I've started to realize, especially when I was in the military, when I was put in those positions where you have to teach a class, and I noticed that I was called upon a lot because I was good at it. Not to say I was the best, but I was decent enough to where it was consistent enough to where different channels, different organizations, different leadership, different people, they've always kind of not used me, but they wanted me to be that pillar of motivation and inspiration and teach. So when I was coming up, I wanted to be an artist, like an illustrator. I was in the comic books, Spawn, Capcom, Marvel comic books. I was always a creative type of kid. So I thought that was what I wanted to do. And that came natural. I've been drawing since I was a child, but tapping into the spirit of flow state, maybe that right there has a lot to do with that umbrella of providing some form of service, of moving people, inspiring people. And that's just me from a lot of things that I've been what appeared to be forced to do, but as the time went on, I learned I was kind of naturally good at it. And then with more repetitions, burning in more reps, trial and error, learning what not to do, because just because you're in flow state don't mean that you're exonerated from having trial and error. We all have to work and burn those reps in, just like muscle tissue, muscle memory. It's the human condition. Everything with repetitions will expose the true nature of what energizes you. And that's basically what flow state is. So ask yourself, if you want to be introduced to your best self, your best version of yourself, because I know right now it's the end of 2021. I know we're going to take it to the next level for 2022 and beyond. And you make more improvements than you've made already this year. You have to say that, not I want to make improvements. You have to really legitimately say it and believe it and add that emotion of belief behind it. That's the way it works. Become a top performer. You have to look at yourself like the Denzel Washington of whatever trade craft that you're involved in, the Denzel of whatever. That's kind of like how I kind of carry myself. Like if I'm working at a certain type of place, a certain type of position, when I was like a squad leader or a section leader or a platoon sergeant, when I was in the Army, I wanted to be the Denzel of that position. And what that does actually is psychologically prepping myself to be a performer. Sometimes we have to do that. We have to psych ourselves into our best selves, and then in turn observe yourself, be very self-observant and understand. That's what self-awareness is very important, because you have to take a step back before you even reveal flow state. You got to figure out what energizes you, what moves you. If you notice like you have a position as being an administrator, but like that don't move you as like a chore, but then helping people at the front desk when you're making copies and someone asks you the question, you feel like that's what gets you, then sometimes we may have to reorganize the puzzle and align yourself with what moves you to become a top performer, because you're going to always get that positive feedback loop. And anything that gives us a position of having a positive feedback loop, it becomes contagious. And when it becomes contagious, we want more of it.